All right. Good morning, everybody. Hope you all had a good week. I've been... Well, my week's been okay. Busy, but not as productive as I was hoping it would be, if that makes sense. But I am excited to get drawing today. Partially... Hang on. What's going on? Excited to get drawing today, partially because I'm not... Like, this is the first time I think run into the situation. Oh, no. Okay. Okay. First time I've run into the situation where I'm looking back at last week's art, and I'm not super happy with where we ended up. I don't think it's bad, really, in any way. It's more just, it's not kind of what I was picturing in my head. So it feels... We'll go with, like, it feels a little bit disappointing, really, in terms of just looking back at it. So I think for the first time, I'm going to be just redrawing it. I think that's the plan, is just to try it again and test out some theories as to why I think it hasn't worked out the way I want it to. And this is partially because in this past week, Cynic's Design on YouTube released a video with some art recommendations, folks to follow for different things. And the first section is colors, and the first artist is very much kind of what I was hoping that I could do. So if we... Here, I'll just go to this scene instead of giving the reference image. We take a look at the crazy bright colors that she has here, that she's used in this image. I can still tell what color things are supposed to be, even though, like, we got a lot of purples and cyans and yellows here in what should be clear ice, right? And like the brown basket has some green shadows, really, to add the details and the woven basket look of it. And even like the crabs have some greenish like highlights on their shell. Not to mention the fact that it's like, I really enjoy all of the geometric shapes kind of scattered throughout. I think that's a really neat effect that I'm not going to be playing around with yet. That's for the future. I'll get there probably eventually, but for now I'm really looking at the colors here. And just, I'm impressed at how I can tell what things are supposed to be, like what color they are supposed to be, even though they have these other crazy colors on them. And that, I think, is kind of really what I want to get to, because in my image with hi Brassfly, how's it going? Where's my art stream scene? There we go. We keep the reference image here. So last week's image that I painted, I can't tell that that's supposed to be like that. This here. Oh wait, hang on. Let me actually get my pen working. Oh, what happened? Oh dear. Hang on. I'm gonna have to... Hang on. One sec. I'll back to here. Cool. So what I was saying is that with the color selection here, I cannot tell that that's supposed to be a gray metal color. Like, it's just a purple shiny thing, which is not really what I wanted to do with the image. So like the fact that in my image I can't tell what color things are supposed to be versus like up here in this one in Angela's, it's very clear that this is supposed to be like a reddish brownish crab. The fact that she can convey that with reds, once again, give you a bigger view so you can see my cursor a bit better. So she can convey that with like the reds here and browns, and like there's purple in here, and the greens. I think that's fantastic and very much what I missed with the piece I did yesterday. And in continuing through this, some of her other images that he shows in the video here, like this one, again, it's a little bit more subdued, but even up here in the shadows, it's not just a like a brown or a darker color of the building. It's like a purplish gray up here, just adding a lot more color to the image itself, instead of like just adding brown or black to it to darken it. I think where is it? Here. Oops. This one. Also, definitely go check out Cynic's design if you're interested in learning art and design stuff. He's great. Particularly this artist for inspiring artists video that he released this past week. Fantastic. Anyway, what I learned from this image in particular is that it's the bounce light that has all of the colors, right? So we can tell that this green is coming from the green of the ground, but I can still see that mostly this wall, partially because of the light hitting it over here, is supposed to be on a kind of off-white yellowish house, but it's very green down here because of the bounce light. And like even these bright colored, which I assume could be gray, doesn't really matter, just a nice little pop of color there, somewhere that it's not necessarily as important. Versus, we'll come back to look at the image here, the like this is supposed to be like a bright silverish color, but it's now purple and blue for some reason, which again, color wise, I'm not super upset with the choices of colors. It's just, it's not the vibe that I wanted. So I think, again, part of the issue is that the light areas are not, sorry, the areas that are in the light are not the correct colors. And I should be instead adding a bunch of the color to like the shaded areas, and that's where you can really get a whole lot of like vibrancy out of the image without confusing the actual color of the object, I think. So part of what I want to do today is just kind of redo this image, kind of like I'll paint it over from scratch, start again, but instead of just choosing colors to add to it, I want to see if my hypothesis is correct for the getting the vibrancy in there, by adhering much more to the original colors for Forged Daughter, and then trying to add some more vibrancy to the areas that would be shaded, and see if that helps with like the problems that I'm having. And the other thing that I've noticed about this image is that it's like the values are all too similar. If there wasn't this outline around the whole thing, it'd be very hard to tell where Forged Daughter's shape ends and the background begins. So definitely I want to play with the values there to make sure that they are more separated. So she's more in the foreground and the background is kind of just, I don't know, darker. Which honestly, I could probably just have added a a screen layer and just gone with light. Just fade it out, something like that, just to make her pop out a little bit more. Maybe would have been something that I could do, but didn't do it last week. But that's something I do want to keep in mind for next week. The other thing is I don't know that I care about composition this week, so I'm going to instead just focus on just Forge Daughter herself, and probably just make her put her big in center of this the frame, and not worry about like this. Whoops. I'm trying on the background. Oh, let's undo all of that. Sorry, and then just not worry about the extra objects in the scene. Just kind of ignore those for today, and test my hypothesis about the vibrancy of the image coming a lot from the bounce light in the image, and then being able to play with, once again, in here with the colors in the shadows. Like there's these bright blues here, just kind of not necessarily reflecting anything in particular, but just it lightens up the shadow. And then the purples here, and some of the the greens here, and like this is a kind of a, well, my mouse cursor is pink, so it's kind of throwing off my color perception right now. But just play around with the colors in the shadows more so than just the colors in all of the image being confused. So pretty long-winded way of saying we're just going to, I think, do a repainting unless somebody else has a suggestion for any character that they'd like to see drawn. I would be happy to take that into account, but I think the plan for today is going to be just repainting and testing it to see if my hypothesis is correct. So on that note, let me, oh, I forgot to bring up a picture of Forge Daughter. Can I spell? No, cannot. All night. Oh, I don't know. Come across this image last time. That's fine. Open image in new tab. Great. So, reference. Back up. Okay. All right. So if we're going to, you know what? Maybe I'll just try to paint this more one-to-one, just to give myself a different pose to work on, so I can practice that at the same time. So we'll do the same character, the same, because I, again, want to play with the colors themselves, and then go from there. So, again, we're going to start with a sketch layer. I'm not gonna thumbnail it really, because I'm just going to take this this pose and go with it. With the wing things on our helmet, bell top. It is a bit bigger. And then at the big shoulders, and big chest here, big round shoulders. there. The full. And dividing here so we can see three-dimensionality of the object. Great. Oop. What digitalizer you use? I'm not entirely sure what the question you're asking is. I'm drawing in the program Krita, and I have a display tablet in front of me, which is I forget. Huion, Huion, and it's fine. Like it's not the Canvas 13, I think, older generation one, so it's pretty old and it works okay. 100%, I would say check out other recommendations for digital tablets before you settle on buying one. But that's what I'm using to draw, and the program is Krita, which I think I said, which I do recommend Krita. It's the free open source one. I have chosen to purchase it through Steam, mostly because I forgot the word tablet. Yeah. So there's your answer for the tablet that I'm using. It's the Canvas, I think, 13, older generation one with the display. It disconnects randomly. So this one in particular, I don't know that I would recommend. But again, check reviews from people like artists who use them much more regularly for that, if you are interested. But yeah. I put that far too low, didn't I? Yeah. Yeah, I made her too tall. Okay, we're gonna undo this, try it again. Here. Okay. Now let's now she's too squat. That's fine. I'm not. Whoop. That's fine. I'm not too upset about the shapes here right now. The head definitely needs to be larger, but got our hands there and a tool. Then similarly, but behind that way, and then let's fix the head size. Again, take advantage of the digital medium. Instead of trying to redraw it, we're going to grab it and scale it up. Whoop, I didn't mean to shear it like that. Even that's still too small. Wow. That's too big now. Or not. That's probably... No, that's too big. Oh, stop shearing. Okay. There, that's good. What is happening? Oh, I'm hitting the wrong button. That's what it is. Okay. The brush. Erase that. There we go, that's probably fine. Vibes wise, what am I missing? The shoulder things are massively huge. I gotta increase the size of this one, I think. And not that way, it's like here. The shape is around here. Rounded. Out. Okay. What do we think? That looks pretty close in terms of shape. I'm pretty happy with it. We'll trim this down a little bit, give a bit more space to the gray body as well. I think that's probably correct. And it's not often that I try to recreate something one for one. I'm out of practice. Just studying the shapes, even. Part of the issue is that, oh, this is way over here, huh? Much more in that shape. It goes across. So she's looking up this way. Yeah, much more of a heroic vibe here. Great. Okay. Some of the extra lines so I don't confuse myself too much. And then this one is actually a bit smaller and further down. Right, that's... Great, okay. So that's... Okay, no, I gotta stop futzing. I got a limited amount of time to actually get all this done today. So I can't spend too much more time on the actual sketch of it itself. Happy enough with that. The anatomy and shapes were not the purpose for today. I wanted to focus on the colors. So we're going to go from here, which again, is there a way? Can I just pop this out? Oh, what is happening? No, that's not... No, I wanted the layers panel. Why did the layers panel not move? Okay. Tool options there. Keep it at the bottom here. Great. Okay, so now you can actually kind of see the layers that I'm working on. Oh, that was a bit of an ordeal. Okay, so we'll rename this to Sketch. Oh, you can't even read that anyway. Well, maybe you can. My resolution on my monitor's too small. Anyway, got Sketch. Next, we'll do a layer just of color background. Just to have something to start with. We'll go with, because it's kind of a forge otter. We'll again keep it in the try to keep it in the warmer tones again. Just because, again, forged otter in the deep docks, it's very much a hotter place, and she's forging stuff. So give myself a lighter color. Go with some paler yellow airbrush. And then we'll fade off into more of a darker red, even with the airbrush and just in the corners. Or not. Why is it? Whoops. It's too big. Yeah, it was too big. Greta didn't like that brush being that large. Alright, well, that's fine. Okay. Okay, that's a fine color palette to start with as the background. I'll try to add more details and stuff later. The sketch layer is not where I want it to be, so we'll grab that and center it a little bit. Oh. Slide it over. Okay. Just at a quick glance, looks good enough for me. And then we'll just start. Sketch layer stays on top. And then we'll lock those layers down so I don't accidentally start painting on them again, which happens way too often. And then we'll go start here, reset the size. And then I think I'm going to just try to color match the original just by looking at it. Just because I do kind of want to practice my color selection skills while we're here, working on a couple of things at the same time. So we'll go with, I think this is the darkest color, even darker than that probably, for the brass parts of the helmet. We'll start with there. We'll go with, I'm gonna paint the helmet as a separate layer, just so I can get the circle and not have to worry about accidentally painting over it when I start doing the body. We'll start with this as the layer for the helmet, which I shall actually, while I'm here, rename helmet. This darker color. And then we have, oh, didn't mean to delete it. Okay, zoom in. I'll go with just like a black color here for the helmet keyhole visor thing. And then I should also actually create a layer for just some swatches. So the brown is there, the black there as well. We'll name this swatch. And then the helmet. I'm going to want a gray kind of pretty dark. Is it kind of blue? Or is that just, it looks blue because it's in direct contrast to the yellow brass? And I think that's the case. I don't think it's actually blue. So we're gonna just stick with the gray. Give myself a swatch of it as well. And we'll paint the wings in on the helmet. And the little loop above. Okay. Cool. So from the sketch, let's turn off this sketch. Clean this up a little bit. Myself a bit of a smaller brush. How is that not the same color? Wow, okay. The swatch didn't actually get the same color. That's odd. That again. Great. Helmet. The top of the loop doesn't actually stick that far up above the helmet. Do that. Oh, it's a very thin line at the, oops. Oh, come on. Okay. Base colors look fine. Kind of okay with that. Now, let's go with adding the highlights to it. There's 2 layers of that, which means we'll go from here, and it's a bit more in this area here, I think. Oops. Okay, on the swatch. This is the highlight there. And then the brightest one is actually kind of not quite that orange. Out here? Look about right. As the highlights. I'm gonna say yeah, I think that looks be good enough. Then for the grays, we'll do the same thing. Lighten it up a little bit. It's probably too much. That's the mid-tone. Go with, like... Oh, it's actually not even that bright. We'll go about there for the highlights. Okay, and that's kind of all of the basic colors that we're gonna be using for this. So it's not that much, but we'll be able to do some pretty good shape sculpting with these colors. So the the midtones, there's a lot of rim light around here. So these are the colors that I can't really touch, I think, if I want to get the color of the whole thing looking correct. Kind of here, and there's this round, there's the circle bit of it. Oh, dang it. I'm trying to paint this on the swatch layer. Not what I want. Okay, undo. Undo all of that. Oops, not that. Undo. Keep those. Undo that. Okay, swatch is locked again. So we'll try... Oh, what? Oh, I'm trying to erase. That's why. Okay. Not what I want to do at this point. I want to... Once again, gotta get a roughly round helmet shape. And there's going to be a round highlight up here as well. Again, just trim off the edges a little bit because digital painting and I can do that. And we'll grab the actual brightest highlight. Myself a much smaller brush. Go around with this. The highlights that actually probably exist. Okay, how does that look? That looks that looks okay in terms of matching color-wise. I definitely think I want to play around with the darkest color more because it's not quite this vibrant, I don't think, but that's fine. We'll keep, whoops. Didn't mean to zoom in like that. My apologies. We'll keep that there for now. We will also start to work on this one here, which is just that. And then, once again, oh no, am I on the wrong? Oh, dang it. I did this on the swatch. Okay, we're gonna get rid of all of that. Lock that again. Back to the helmet. The brush. And then it's basically just rim highlights here. Excuse me. Oops. Oh, that. Not the full highlight yet. Okay, I want it to be not super even, because I do want it to look like it's kind of 3D. So this side is too uniform around the edge. We'll trim it back a little bit, hopefully to give it a rounded 3D look. Hasn't quite worked, but that's honestly possibly just because of the jagged edges, not straight lines. No, this one needs to be the way I think. Alright, good enough. Figure it out later. And then some actual, like, just... Oop, wait, why did it not... Select this bright color, thank you. And just just the highlights on the edges. Not massively everywhere, just enough to show that there are some highlights coming in from other places. Okay, that looks great. My dog is complaining pretty heavily at the moment, so I will be right back. Yeah, I'll be right back. Just okay, and back. So, where were we? We were finishing up the helmet. Looks like actually there's more of an underlighting situation than maybe it's just backlight. Yeah, okay. Fine. So we have that. The helmet is done for now. We'll lock that down. Give ourselves a body layer. Bring back the sketch so I know what I'm doing. Once again, we'll grab the darkest color, then work up from there. In those sections. Apologies, that's a notification on my end that I thought I had turned off. If there was a Windows update and it activated all my notification settings again, I'll be a little bit, we'll go with frustrated at it. But I guess, you know, what are you gonna do? And then I think the helmet's actually supposed to be behind the... oh, I didn't mean to make a copy of the helmet. No. Again, rename it properly. Call it the body. Okay. And then... the last bit here, grab the black color to do the fingers, the arms, I mean. Okay. Good enough. Let's once again hide the sketch and then begin working our way through here as well. Covering up all of the areas. Being thankful that I had the foresight to put the helmet on a separate layer, I will say. Okay. Take my time. Really make sure the shape is how I want it to be. Okay, I probably shouldn't work too much on the gray colors yet because I'm going to need to really shade the shoulder here properly. And then it's going to be kind of a similar deal in terms of how this thing is shaded. There's actually a big area in the middle that is going to be super dark. But the edges are lighter. We'll stick with that shape for now. Then really kind of give the edge that color highlight there. Okay. And then we shall, from here, grab the actual highlights, and then just kind of play around with that. Be here, that's nice and bright. This area. Interesting. Quite as vibrant. Much more in the shadows. Let's down a little bit here too. Get that even across both sides. I think actually I want to grab some of this little fancy highlight in here. Not too much. Okay, good enough. There needs to be a little bit more color variation, I think, in here, but that's not the end of the world that it's not there right now. Okay. Yeah. Stick with that. Move over to the main section here. Once again, do edges of it here. Much more of a this shape. There's not really that much actual dark on this side. And then grab the actual highlights. I'll do a much smaller brush size because it's really only the edge that has brightest parts here, where it's really showing the edges of the panels and stuff, which same on this side. Okay, and then we'll do similarly here. The highlights there, here. Oh, interesting, and then there's going to be there. Okay, and then we have whoa. Got the size of the brush. And there's a big reflective section in the front here. Off to the side here as well. Okay. Great. And then we have some much brighter highlights. Oops. Put it down. Okay. And then we can grab this. Go actually even a little bit darker. We shall canvas, make it easier for me. Darkest part. Halfway down. Lighter. Well, let's need to be a bit lighter as well for like the bottom part of the curve. Oops. Okay, and then as well. Cool. It's looking all right. We'll take the blur brush, and we'll once again, oops, kind of try to blend the edge here a little bit better. It's not a sharp edge, or it shouldn't be a sharp edge. Once again, no. Okay, why are we getting notifications? Notifications should be turned off. Wait, how do I... Yeah, okay. Great. Okay, do not disturb. Please stay on. Okay. All right. Actually, I think what I'm going to do, add the arms as a separate layer, so that way I have much more control over the edges here, once again. Yeah, okay. So, we'll erase this arms well. Give it, again, its own layer to just clean things up a bit here. Oh, I didn't want to blur that. Once again, just give us a sharp highlight to keep that metallic look. Okay, cool. So we have the correct metallic look now. So I want to, from here, no, we'll finish the base here and paint in the arms first before I start playing with colors and experimenting with like what I can do to really make it super vibrant. So we have the body, we'll have the what is that? That's going to be the right arm. Oops. Right arm. Are you sleepy, dog? So I don't actually know if you can hear the dog complaining that she's tired. Whoop. Fingers. Okay, and then the left arm has to go behind the body. And we'll call it oops. have arm. And then it here. The angle, it goes down much more before it cuts back in towards the body. Similarly, down, finger, finger, cool. Yeah, that looks fine. Okay, now I have the swatches. So this is, I think, fairly accurate to the reference image, but now I want to, from here, spend the next chunk of time playing with some colors in there, to like, especially the shaded areas, to just make it look more vibrant, really, and see what I can get away with in terms of like adding colors to some of the darker areas and how that will affect the overall feel of the piece, for sure. So I'm actually working a little bit here. I should try to... Okay. That's not the right arm. I didn't want that on that layer. Okay. So, arm is done. Arm is done. Try this again. We'll paint on the actual body layer. Darken things down just a little teensy bit in the ambient occlusion areas. Okay. Now, all of my layers are locked. We'll do a new one. We'll just call this Color Shadows 1. Alright, and now this is where I think the background will come into play a little bit, because I have an orangish color here. I wonder if that's the color that I want to throw into the shaded areas. So we'll do some experimentation with this here, kind of add some red and probably actually some green, because red and green will end up being kind of a brownish shade, right? They're mixed together because they're... Whoa. Why am I not zooming? There we go. Already, yeah, I think that works better. The green, maybe not so much, but that's why we're playing around with it. Even then, like, just, like, the smallest chunk of green, not that bad, actually. Yeah, okay, that's actually kind of cool. I'm kind of enjoying the look of that. Now, how do I do that for this gray, though? Because I don't want it to be the same, like, saturated color, right? Because the metal is going to be desaturated. So if I maybe just grab that same orange, but bring it down, like, less saturated. Will that work here as well? Like if I just... add it in here? Or is that too bright currently? I think that's too bright for that part in the gray. So if we once again reset here, desaturate it though. Yeah. Still too bright comparatively. So put here. Not bad. I think, once again, in relation to the actual very dark gray, that is still too light. So let's go back here. Really want to just be dark. Is it that? That's there. If we just bring it down, maybe it just needs to be darker. That's... no, that's also changing the color. Well, okay, let's... if I also add some of the green in there, also just darker and saturated, is that going to... No, because that doesn't work because it's not the same brown underlying color. It's a gray. So that's not working out. Let's think about this. So, because it's a gray, if I go back to this brownish red, and I just, again, bring it over, and it's only like slightly less saturated. That's still too bright. That might still be too bright. Go. No, that's too saturated and too dark now. Oh, is it? What? How dark is this? That is quite dark. Okay, so if we instead just start from there and then go up a bit, is that... because we have the red. Hmm. Oh. Did I? Ran out of music. Cool. Move on to that one. Great. Well, that's kind of okay. I think because it's not brown, I also think I want some of the yellowish in there too, just because of that's the color of the background. If we just throw some of this in here as well, make it more. No, because now the yellow makes it look like it's teetering more towards the what's going on? Did I lose? Oh. Well. It is currently telling me that something is going wrong. I will have to double check the audio on a rewatch later. But for now, yeah, no, this, the green and red and yellow works up here for me in terms of like adding some color to the rest of it. But the red and yellow is not working out for so well for me on the gray sections of the piece. So if that's the case, if I can't get it to work here, what will work? Like, do I need to go to like a blue maybe? Or maybe it's more of a purplish color. Perhaps that's will be the color that I want in here. Okay, that's too bright. Whoa. No, the purple doesn't really make sense with that. So it's not. Let's get rid of all of the purples. It's not bad, but it's not really giving me like the warm glow of everything vibe that I'm going for. So maybe what I need to do is let's try just instead of in this case playing around with the darker shadows, because it is just a gray and I can't mess around with that too much. But instead I just give, ooh, that's much more red than orange. Instead I just give some like super, oops, some super bright like rim lights just in the highlights here, because that's the color that things are really, right? Because that's the dead. Some nice bright edges here, like, oops. Okay, no, I need to rotate. Okay, I think that actually works better for me in terms of colors. I think I do want to find something to add into like this area here that makes it just a little bit more colorful. But I don't know what, because I tried the purple, didn't quite work. What if we stick here and just like it's very desaturated? Maybe. Maybe it's still too much into the blue. And if I bring it back to... If I bring it back to the red as well... no, the brown is giving it too much. Like it becomes too similar to the brass again. Is not what I'm going for. So let's try swinging it the other way. Let's add some blue, maybe. Is that too crazy? Maybe. Maybe that's just too vibrant of a blue. Okay, let's undo the blues, and let's desaturate it a bit more. Maybe we bring it more towards like the more of a cyan. Then is that? You can barely tell. There's not really a point in doing that particular shade. A bit. Actually, I'm not terribly upset about that. I do need to... a bit more in here. Okay, yeah, I'm kind of okay with that, because the blue and the orange, reddish will combine into a purple. So that I'm actually kind of okay with that. Purple again as well. Okay, I'm not too upset about that. I do think now that also means that I need some actual like just like the smallest amount of like cyan in here along with the orange. just to balance it out a bit. But like, not a lot, just like a teensy bit over here and there, just to keep the gray balance going. Not too bad. Okay, and now these areas here, this gray is way too, like, just boring in terms of, like, no color variation in here. So, what do I need to do? I need to, let's go, say if we go back to this gray and just kind of lighten everything up as well. Oops, that's not the right brush. If we get that purple again, and then we again lighting it up, not too saturated though. Okay, and then I think I want to go back to the orange as well. Too light. Here maybe? Yes, and then I definitely want to have a little bit of the orange in here with the purples and the blues, I think. Really tied into everything else as well. Okay. Now, I wonder... There's just a little bit too much here. I pulled back on it a teensy bit. Get rid of these and just kind of leave that big chunk there. I think that's maybe okay. Okay, that's not too bad. Okay, let's hide the swatches. Oops. I think maybe I overdid it with the color in the shaded areas here, especially since it doesn't like go all the way to the edges, which I think is kind of part of the problem. So if I get rid of some of that. Yeah, no, the colors on here don't really work for me super well in the shaded areas of the gray metal. Here, it's fine, I think. But I think I need to go back to the purple. Just, oops. Like, it's just in the actual, like, ambient occlusion areas that it becomes this dark, colorful thing. I think that's maybe more so what I want. Where's that? Okay, I think that a little bit better. In terms of color stuff. I mean, because it works up here on like in the smaller areas of the winglets up here, but it didn't work for me like in the large chunks on the bottom part. So let's see what I can do about here. Just kind of bring it down a little bit, but not too much. Here as well, so it's not just a single line there, just kind of break up the straight line just a teensy bit. Do the same thing here, just bring it down. Maybe not there, actually. I take it back. This technically just a rounded shape here. And there's not, this is like a highlight, not a separate feature on the actual design. So it does need something in here. So let's okay, so that a little bit of reflection down there because it is shiny metal. Well, maybe not shiny, but it is metal. So we'll just teensy hint of that on there. I think that's fine. Clean up that. You know what? I'm actually pretty happy with how that's turned out so far. I think if I keep working on it, I'm gonna fuss around with it too much and maybe get it to a place I don't want it to be. So we're gonna just hold it there for now. I'll take a look at it again next week at the beginning and kind of critique it there. But I am much more happy with this result here. Than with this one, because again, this one, I like the room lighting, like the vibrancy of the color here, but it doesn't really look like Forged Daughter, really, not as much as I think this one does. So I think for this one, I can definitely probably push the colors a little bit further, and like make it a little bit brighter and more interesting. Which actually, now that I'm here, let me get the bright orange. Vibrant orange, great. We'll do. Let's hang on. Actually, before I do that, clean up the edges around here so that the actual edge is highlighted. Yeah, okay, and then once again, we'll go grab some of the orange, pump it up a little bit, maybe bring it a little bit more towards the yellow. Technically, this is going to be reflecting off of a yellow surface. And then we'll do just off the body again, go back to the colors. Again, just give myself some like actual bright highlights every once in a while. Oops. Okay, that I think does a pretty good job of tying everything together. So it's not like they are two separate surfaces, certainly, but they're not fully disconnected because we have both the orange and the cyan highlights every once in a while. And then in the silver, there'll be more of the cyan than the orange. We'll make sure we don't neglect the orange here either. Okay, cool. And then actually, last thing. We'll just throw in some of the rim color on the arms themselves. Just a little bit. Okay, I think that feels fairly cohesive. And then we'll play around with the background a little bit, give it a bit of texture. So we'll go with the big brush here. And then we'll go... Ooh, because there's blue there. Do I want just a little bit of, like, a hint of purple? No, probably not. Maybe, actually. So everything is... Well, again, give myself another layer on top here. That this way I can control a little bit better the opacity of it. So instead of that, we'll just do a screen. Ooh, what is that overlay? Okay. Not bad. Not quite what I was going for, but not bad. Okay. Bring it down a little bit. Okay. And then we'll go with some actual orange. Bring it up. Great. And let's bring the opacity down a little bit to just make a hint of the texture in the background. And I think that's I think that's where I'm going to leave it. I'm actually pretty happy with where it is currently. I think this one reads a lot more like the proper colors of the design, while still having some interesting textures and colors in the shadows, which makes it pop a little bit more. If I get rid of that, I mean, I'm still happy with the work, but I do think that, for my tastes anyway, I really like what the extra colors add to the piece. So as we wrap up here, let me give you a full view of the full screen picture of the piece. Get rid of that. Cool. So this is the attempting the Forged Daughter Part 2. I'm pretty happy with how it turned out, and I think the key is definitely the color goes in the darkest parts for the most part, and that definitely helps with making it read like the correct color of the object that it should be. Yeah, I'm actually quite happy with that. So, for those of you who are here, thanks so much for hanging out with me as I practice my digital art. I will, once I sign off today, make this the thumbnail for the Hollow Knight Silksong playthrough stream that I do on Monday mornings at 9:30 Eastern time. And if you are interested in watching me play that, hopefully I'll see you there. Thanks so much for hanging out with me today. Hopefully you guys all have a great weekend, and good luck with whatever projects you're working on. I will see you next week. Take care of yourselves.